smells nice. Vanilla flavored. I don't think I put the music on. Before I go on, let me get some music going. That's better. Pookie, hi. Welcome. And yeah, thanks for joining the queue. So you're the first one in the queue so far. How are you doing, by the way, Pookie? Hope you're doing well. Hope it's been a good Friday for you so far. So today I have been practicing my guitar and drawing. Yeah, I'm doing great, thank you. This is what I've been drawing. Almost finished. I should have it finished by tomorrow. It's a secret gift for one of my viewers, one of our viewers. I hope she's not watching the stream just yet. Although I feel like she's seen it before. When I showed it in another stream last week, I realized that she was watching at that very moment that I showed it. She didn't say anything though. Welcome back, Jenna. And thank you for the compliment, Pookie. Okay. These candles are life and death. Between life and death there is a balance that we call chaos. Hey Shivi, welcome back. Nice to see you. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Hope you're doing well. So Pookie, I'm ready to do your reading. What is your question? Or would you prefer general? Hope everybody's having a good Friday. Okay, so I'm just gonna go and read general for you then, Boogie. Aha. What does the spirit need to tell you? Cool. What message does the spirit have for Pookie? No problem, Shivi. General reading for you it will be. You're next in the queue. Okay, so Pookie, your first card here is a 10 of discs reversed. Misfortune in your physical world. So this is something that you've just been through. Basically, this card is telling me that you've been investing a lot of your time and energy into your physical health. And that could be your fitness or your diet, as well as your finances. You've been investing a lot of time growing and developing that aspect of your life. But through the whole journey, you feel like the backslide was equal to the growth. So you ended up not really going anywhere. And so arriving into completion, finishing that task or finishing that journey, feeling like you're right back where you started. Now, before you reach completion, there's a period where you reflect in like, what have I been doing differently? What's changed? And how have I been applying myself since we started this? And if you're in that place of reflection and you blame the environment, that's the only time that you have misfortune. So if you say, oh, there was this unforeseen event, or oh, that person did this and I wasn't, that's what screwed up my schedule, that's why I wasn't able to exercise, or that person couldn't eat the way that I want to eat in my diet, or yeah, if you're blaming the environment for mishaps, that's the only time that there's misfortune. Because even if you have stagnated, even if you haven't really seen the progress you were hoping for and the abundance you were hoping for, by the end of the cycle, when you reach that number 10, you've still learned. You know now what you can avoid doing and what you can do better as you go into a new cycle and apply yourself for a second time. If you, however, blame the environment, then you don't learn from it, and then it's misfortune. So I'm only saying that to you so that you can recognize there is still a lot that you learned from that period, and it's not entirely a loss. Even if you have seen physical losses, financial losses, maybe you've gone backwards in your health, you've still learned through that process where you were trying to develop your health and your finances. Present interval card is the 9 of Cups. So as a result of this misfortune that you've experienced, it's brought up a lot of emotions. It's brought like a well up of emotions. Some exciting feelings, but mostly depressive feelings and uncertainty, frustration. Those are the things that I'm pulling out of that. And it's not consistent, it's like a wave. Like there are moments where you're feeling great and amped to start the cycle again, start applying yourself again, and there's moments where you feel kind of hopeless about it. It's not consistent. And this card wants to warn you, it wants to just bring something to your attention. It wants to say to you, don't allow the difficult emotions or the positive emotions to compel you to do something. Don't do anything compulsive because of the emotional experience. Direct your attention and take deliberate action regarding your projects and your goals, rather than feeling excited and then doing something like, I don't know, going out and partying because you're excited and you're full of energy, or you're feeling depressed and so you end up binge watching series and overeating. Don't allow the emotions to cause you to do things compulsive. Don't react to them, in other words. Choose deliberate action that's aligned with your goals. And what's opening up for you? Ace of Swords. So you've come out of completion, you reached full circle, and whatever it was you were doing, that project came to a close, even though it didn't give you everything you had hoped for when you started out. Now it's time to set new goals and to establish new purpose for yourself. And the first step, once again, is to communicate it. To start talking about these new goals that you're setting and these new missions that are in your mind. You've got these thoughts and plans. The first step to making them real is to give them sound waves. Put them onto sound waves or put them into writing. Give them their first physical form. And you will find that there are people in your space and in your life who are inclined to support you in your goals and help you achieve them. There is a little bit of a warning with that card as well. It's saying, be discerning about who you communicate to. If you know someone is trustworthy, go ahead and be completely honest and vulnerable with them. If you know someone is untrustworthy and you know they're a gossip, hold your tongue. Don't talk to them. And if it's people you don't know, then it's wise not to trust. But you can give them small things and see if they go and gossip. You can give them small tests as you get to know them. With time, you'll get to understand if they are trustworthy or not. Jenna wants to know, what am I smoking? I'm smoking vanilla flavored tobacco. I don't know if you can really see that. Black Bob's vanilla tobacco. But that's your reading, Pookie. I hope you got some value out of that reading. So up next is Shivi. You're welcome, Pookie. Okay, what general message does the universe have for Shivi? Okay, so Shivi, your first card here is the Queen of Cups. So this card it talks about reflections and expectations. Emotional reflections and emotional expectations. It's something that you've already been through, it's something you've already experienced, it's coming to a close now in your present, it's what makes your present the way it is. It's saying that certain hopes you had, certain expectations you had for emotional fulfillment and abundance were met. And they were met by people who reflect you. You've been giving out certain amount of emotional support to people, expressing yourself vulnerably, and people are reflecting it back to you, which is something you expected and hoped for. This card just wants to tell you it's not always going to be the case. Not every time that you give of your emotional energy are other people going to reflect it. There are people that you are going to encounter in your life who are drains, and no matter how much you give, they never end up giving back. So you have been interacting with people who are reflective. They do give back what they receive. And that's great. That is a blessing. In the present, we've got an Ace of Wands for you. So this is telling me that in the present, you are communicating your intentions with these people, whoever they are. It's more than one person, definitely. close connections, friends, family, and you've got desires, the things you want to create for yourself, and a certain state of being you want the relationships to develop into. You have intentions there, and you've been communicating that. Just expressing your intentions and expressing your desires and what you're passionate about, and having others express their communication, bouncing back and forth desires and intentions. This is the first stage before you manifest those things. As I was saying in the last reading, you're giving your desires and your passions their first physical form by communicating it with the people around you. Future interval is number 4 of the trumps. It's the Emperor. This card is all about discipline, strength, rule, peace, order. It tells me 2 things. First of all, you are going to be stepping into structure and routine. So whatever these desires are, whatever these things that you're passionate about are, that you've been talking about and bouncing ideas around, you're going to set structure for yourself, and you're going to step into that structure and be disciplining yourself according to that structure. And you're going to have examples to follow. There are strong individuals, people that you're communicating with now. There are people there who are driven and motivated and disciplined, and by their example you're going to also become disciplined. Your future is defined by today. Like tomorrow, it's defined by what you do today. So disciplining oneself according to a productive schedule each day defines what your end goal looks like, and that's what you're going to be stepping into that structure and following the example, following the lead of others who are good at that, who understand self-discipline and structure. Welcome, Explicit Cupcake. It's good to have you here in the tarot stream. And welcome, Tori. Break your illusion. Do you have any? We'll see if we can provide some vision and clarity. Jenna says, I smoke but no flavor. Shivi says, thank you. Very beautiful interpretation. I will soak in your message. Amazing. Thank you for your recognition. So, to join the queue, just ask your question, guys. Ask your question, put yourself in the queue, and I'll do reading for you. Otherwise, I'm gonna do a reading for Tori on his illusions, or what do you need to be made aware of, Tori? General for Jenna, so you'll be up after Tori. Brace yourself, here comes the sledgehammer. So, what does Tori need to be aware of? That could use some work. What has Tori been missing that he needs to be aware of? Okay, so I've got a Knight of Cups in reverse for you, Tori. This is where you've come from. It's something that's already closing, and it's an emotional rebirth. It's not something you chose of your own accord. You didn't say, hey, the way I've been coping with my emotions has not been all that healthy. I think I need to make a change. No, that's not how it happened. The universe was looking at you and like, hey, Tori, the way you've been dealing with your emotions hasn't exactly been healthy. So I'm going to throw some things at you and cause a rebirth. And that's basically what happened there. What that would have looked like what that would have looked like is relationship struggle, noticing how, or other people around you noticing how your emotional experience is impacting them and setting boundaries, not allowing your reactions to affect them anymore. That's probably what it looked like, and that would then be quite painful for you. And you would have to adapt. You'd have to find some other way to cope with your emotions, as you're no longer able to grab attention or support from people around you by reacting to your emotional experience. Queen of Cups in reverse is your present card. So this one is saying to you, you gotta let go of your expectations, because your expectation will lead to disappointment. You have to let go of the expectation, the attachment to the outcome. You failed. Failure is a great teacher, Tori. But let me get back to this Queen of Cups. You want a certain level of emotional peace. You want balance in your emotional being. You don't want to be fluctuating between things like fear and doubt and guilt and then resentment and then guilt, and you don't want to be feeling that fluctuation anymore. You want to just have some satiety in your emotional being, and so you've got certain plans, certain practices that you're adapting, maybe meditation, various practices you're adapting in order to reach that, but you have an expectation of how quickly that's supposed to happen, or you've got an expectation of how it's supposed to look, what it's supposed to look like to be fulfilled and peaceful. And you've got to let go of that attachment to that outcome or that expectation, or otherwise you're going to keep missing it. The practices, the techniques, the coping mechanisms that you're applying, they're going to have their effect, but because you're attached to a specific effect, you're going to miss out on the effects that they're actually bringing into your life. The changes that they're actually making, you're going to overlook them because you're attached to a certain, you're waiting for it to look a certain way before you believe it. And that's going to keep you in disappointment. So let go of your expectation, let go of any preconceived idea you have of what it feels like, what it looks like to be whole and peaceful. And Space Jackie, thank you for visiting. Space, please. Space, thank you. Letting go of your attachments to avoid disappointment. Once you can let go of the attachment or the expectation, then you will find yourself surprised by the results that your efforts actually bring into your life. Prince of Discs in reversed is your future card. So this is talking about some struggle in your physical realm. Struggle with your health, struggle with your finances. And you've been just applying yourself, like knuckling down and pushing forward. This card is just saying to you that might not be enough. Just enduring the struggle is not necessarily going to be enough. You know, if you've got a job and it's earning only a certain amount, and you've got all of these debts and expenses to pay, then just enduring and continuing with what you are doing, it's not really going to be enough. Your income isn't really going to increase. You know what I'm saying? If you've got a job, you get a set amount. So it's saying to you, tap into your creativity, because you're going to need to find some kind of creative solution to whatever these resistances are in your physical reality. And all of your cards are backwards here. And that's not the end of the world. The backwards cards just imply risk. And more than that, they also just imply that you might be missing out on the full potential of what they have to offer. Like here, expectation, you get separated from the full potential. Knight of Cups reversed, if you neglect to make your rebirths of your own accord, if you neglect to deconstruct your old towers and build new ones of your own accord, then the universe does it for you, and that's painful. So there's risk of pain there. And then with the Prince of Discs, you are doing something. You're just missing out on the full potential because it's not enough. The endurance that, like, I'm just gonna push forward and just gonna be the tough guy, isn't always enough. And so yeah, you're waiting for a breakthrough. To get that breakthrough, you're gonna have to look a little further in and tap your creativity. And that is your reading. So just give me a sec so I can go throw something at the people here. Thank you for your question, Explicit Cupcake. I've had a blockage from speaking with my spirit guide. Is there anything I can do to re-establish our connection? So Jen, if you're still here, I can do that general reading for you. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to Explicit Cupcake. I do see my views have dropped, but that counter isn't always accurate. Like, I was convinced that Tori was the only one in the stream, and then it turned out Explicit Cupcake was also here. So Jen, if you're here, let me know. Hey Jock, please some space, please. Some space. Go inside, please. Go inside. Thank you. Hey Adab. What can Explicit Cupcake do to re-establish her connection to her guides? You accidentally stabbed her plant. Okay. Okay, so Explicit Cupcake, I've got a 2 of discs in reverse for you as your past intervals, so where you've come from. This is saying that there was potential and opportunity for you in your physical world. This potential, these opportunities were brought to you by your guides, and you reached for that opportunity, you reached for those potential, and this was physical development. I'm getting from this card that you've already worked through intuition, you've already worked through emotions, and so your guides were like, okay, so for you at this point, working on your finances and your health is self-growth. That's your next challenge. So they brought you opportunities regarding that development, regarding your development of your wealth and your career and your health, and you reached for it, but you didn't demonstrate any level of commitment to that opportunity, and so it fell away. It passed away. It's like the kind of opportunity I'm seeing here is like a seed. So then you plant the seed, you have to go and water the seed, and you have to nourish the seed, and it grows. As you do that, you have to protect it. If you neglect it, if you don't commit to making sure it grows, making sure it stays healthy and secure, then it falls away, it shrivels up and dies. So that's kind of what happened with this. The universe gave you a seed and you went out and planted it, and then you did not water it, and you did not nourish it, and you did not protect it. So now this doesn't separate you from your guides, but as a result you did separate yourself from your guides. I guess through things like doubt and guilt and shame, you did separate yourself from that self-development path you were on. Present interval is a Princess of Discs reversed. Lots of discs here, lots of earth and material things. So Princess of Discs reversed is saying to me that you, in the present, you are supposed to be working with other people, connections, relationships, family and friends. You are supposed to be working with them, budgeting, being flexible, starting projects together and working on them, but you have some difficulty there. You have some difficulty working with others. Your teamwork game is lacking a little bit. You've been used to doing things alone, and yeah, so having to take other people's necessities into consideration when budgeting or when starting a creative project or whatever it might be, then yeah, you got some resistances there, and the universe is saying turn that around. You gotta work with the people in your space, because these things, this opportunity that was presented to you, this opportunity you have now to be working with others regarding your physical reality and your finances, that these are your guides saying this is what's next for you. Developing your health and your finances is your next stage of self-growth. This is the next part for you. So yeah, improving your teamwork game is key. Your guides are still communicating with you. They're still directing you. They're still guiding you into the things that you need to be developing and working on. Maybe it just doesn't look the way you used to, and so it feels like they're distant. Future interval is a Knight of Swords. So that's a rebirth of purpose that's coming up for you. And a little note on purpose. Purpose is not something that's divinely given. Each of us has a desire in our hearts, and that is something we're born with. We come to Earth with a desire. We want to see something happen. We incarnate with a desire, and then we get to choose how we're going to apply our will to accomplish our desire. And that, when your will is actively working towards your desire, then you are existing within purpose. So purpose is the means that you apply your will to accomplish your desire, and it's something you get to choose. And yeah, this is saying to me that as a result of this reading, you're going to be re-examining your physical world and the challenges that you're being faced with in the physical material world regarding your health and your finances. It's going to give you new perspective on how your guides have been communicating with you, and you're going to go into a period of self-reflection where you give yourself new purpose. Yeah, a new method, a new means of applying your will to accomplish your desire, a means that is very much to do with earth and the material realm, because that is where your work is. Your work is in finances and health. That's your next part of your journey. That makes a lot of sense, since with all that's been going on with my life. Thank you very much. You're welcome. So Jen, you are still here. Welcome back. I thought you had left. So Jen, I'm going to do your reading, and then Adab, you'll be up next. Isn't there on the table? There's a whole lot of stuff on the table there that I partitioned out for you so you wouldn't have to. I see. Well, I'm glad you managed to get it charging again. And you're welcome, Explicit Cupcake. I'm really glad to hear that you are continuing to find value in the stream here. brother is staying the night here, and he brought me and my partner some offerings, it would seem. Brought us cookies and donuts, and yeah, looking forward to that, but I haven't had dinner yet. So I'll only be having dinner at like 11:30 tonight. Okay, so general guidance for Jen. General guidance for Jen. Number 14 reversed. Card is called Art. So again, we're looking at a little bit of teamwork difficulty, some issues with teamwork. But this is coming to a close. It's something you have been working on. It's particularly talking to me about relationships. Your relationship. Your romantic relationship. Basically, you having one way of doing things, a certain creative process, and them having a way of doing things in a creative process, and having difficulty allowing one another's process to support the other, or to come to a collective agreement on something or a certain course of action. What you believe is the right course of action, they don't agree with. They have their own opinion of what the correct course of action is. But this is something you guys have been working on, coming to terms and finding some common ground in the next step, in your next means. It's something you've been working on, and there is resolution being found there. You guys are reaching a point where you can compromise for the other, and you can incorporate their creative process into yours and allow their way of doing things to support your process, and vice versa. Present interval, 7 of Wands. So this is like a decision-making process. 7 of Wands is saying you got to decide where your intentions are going to take you, and you got to decide what your outcome looks like. You have desires. Now what does it look like in its resolution? What does it look like in its outcome? And what intentions can you set in order to get there? In the present, that is what you're busy with. You're busy making definitive decisions collectively together. As we saw, there was some difficulty there. You had decisions to make, but you couldn't agree. In the present, you are making decisions together, and you are agreeing, making compromises for one another that's necessary. You both have a common desire, and it's probably to do with your daughter. You both have common intentions, and that intention is for her well-being, for your daughter's well-being. So these decisions are being made regarding, those intentions and those desires. So I feel like you've already got a pretty good handle on these decisions in the present, the two of you. But if I had to give you some advice from this card, it would say, what is the desire? What are the intentions? Because then you base your decision on that desire. You base your decision on those intentions, on that outcome. Imagine you had multiple different pathways into the future, but you have a vision of what you desire from the future, what you want the future to give you. Now, you don't want to make a decision that's going to take you away from that desire. You want to make a decision that will bring you closer to that desire. And that's basically what that card has to say. Future interval card, things that are opening up for you, is the 8 of Wands reversed. So this is as a result. Whatever decision you make in the present, whatever you come to, whatever conclusion you come to, this is the result. And that is shifts, changes, adaptation. The things that drive you and motivate you, they are going to shift and change. Your reason for doing things, your reason for putting one foot in front of the other is going to change dramatically. The decisions you're making in the present, they are going to bring new circumstances into your life that are no longer compatible with your old lifestyle. They're going to bring new people into your life, new relationships, new connections that also are not going to be compatible with the old lifestyle and the old habits, the old motivators. So you're going to have to adapt, because you're going to have to become a certain character, a certain caliber of individual is required for you to reach your desires and to reach the things that you're passionate about and see your intentions fulfilled. So the universe is going to bring the training grounds, basically the circumstances and the people that are the training grounds of moving you from who you have been into who you need to be. And that is what's opening up for you. I hope that you got some value out of that spread. And yeah. Adab is up next. Adabi. She doesn't even know yet, says Adabi. You accidentally poked her plant with your nail. You should be honest about it. Like, she might know it was you, she might not know it was you, but you should be honest about it. Oh, excuse me. Sounds like there's some resentment there. Feels like there's some resentment there. So I felt that guilt move up from the Manipura into the heart and turn into resentment. Yeah, you got to transmute that. You got to be compassionate and understanding. And respectful of her way of life. What will be the repercussions for Adabi? She isn't of yours. So as I'm understanding, she isn't of your blood. That shouldn't matter. She's always poking around your psyche and Peichi, and I don't do that to her. Well, she doesn't come into your house and poke your plants either. Your first card here is number 14. It's the right way around. This is just saying to me that you guys have had a good relationship. Whenever you've got a project, she is always there to help you with it, and vice versa. If she's got things she's doing, you're always there to help her with it. You guys work together well. Whatever you set out to do, you're like a powerhouse. Nothing can stop you when you're working together. So, Adabi, you can use that as justification to do the same thing to her, but that is just going to be a downward spiral. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. If you justified disrespecting her because she disrespected you, then it's just going to be an endless loop of disrespect. Someone's got to make a change. Someone has got to transmute that shit. In the present, we've got number 13. Death card. So this is a rebirth. Ooh, I feel like this is talking about the relationship. That the relationship is going through a rebirth in the present. Like, this is poking the plant is not actually the issue on the table. You guys are good at working together, but something has happened. Like, all these things that you're feeling and all of the things that she is feeling, it's nothing to do with the plant. And the reason you're worried so much about the plant is because of all the other things that have been going on. You feel like this could be the last straw that breaks the camel's back, and it's not. The camel's back was broken before you damaged the plant. Yeah, this death card is saying that the relationship has died, but that's not the end of the world. It is being reborn. As much as it is dying, it is being reborn. All of these things that you guys struggle with, those things are being slain. All those negative aspects of the relationship are being slain. That's what's going on here. So yeah, you're triggering her big time and she's triggering you big time, and this is all towards killing those things. The roots of those triggers are being worked out of the relationship so that the relationship won't be so insecure anymore. Like, you poke the plant and you worry that it's going to create huge upheaval. That's an insecure relationship. It shouldn't matter so much. The relationship between you guys and your ability to work together as a powerhouse and as twin pillars should be stronger. It should be more secure. It should be stronger than a plant. It should be stronger than psychic invasion, etc. It should be more than that. The relationship should be more valuable than these minor issues. So that's what's happening. The universe and circumstance is forcing those things to the present so that you guys both have to face them and deal with them. And yes, it's creating a break, it's pulling you apart, but you will return, you will come back together stronger and more authentic and more secure. If this card is reversed, I would say, yeah, it's sad, but it's not sad, it's actually exciting. With this card the right way around as it is, this is an exciting rebirth. Even though there might be pain here, it's exciting. Future interval is the Ace of Wands. So this is saying you got to communicate. You got to go and talk to her about the plant that was damaged, and you got to be honest. And tell her it was an accident. It's not really the truth, is it? This card is saying to me that there was an intention. That you had an intention when you poked the plant. It wasn't accidental, and you need to go and be honest about that. You need to go and be honest and clear about your intentions, and not just with the plant, your intentions through all of the strife and difficulty you guys have been having in your relationship. And you gotta. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna come out. And you need to, if you want to avoid more strife, and you want to avoid more pain and more guilt, it's better if she hears it from you, honestly, and better than her having to invade your psyche to find it. She always thinks you're childish, and despite being older, well, that is her own issue. If she's seeing you as being childish, it's because she's insecure about it in herself, and she sees herself that way. So don't take it too personally. It's okay, you just gotta be honest. We're all human, you know. Yeah, sorry about that. But it's my job to know. It's what I do, I know. And you're welcome. So I saw earlier that Jasmine came into the chats. Asking me, will Vishal come back to me and ask to start the relationship all over again? So Jasmine, are you here still? Explicit Cupcake says I feel the same way. But anyway, Jasmine, are you still here? Jasmine Dogro? Dogro? Well, that was the last reading in my queue, if Jasmine isn't here. Yep, Jasmine is gone. Okay, so I guess we're just gonna chill and wait. Strangely slow business today. What is today? Today is the 18th. People are either having their illusions shattered, or they are realizing that they actually have everything they needed at their disposal, that the universe already gave them all the tools that they needed in order to overcome the obstacles that they saw in front of them. But we'll see. Winter is approaching rapidly. I need to get a chainsaw and go and saw down some trees. Stock up on firewood. Oh, Jasmine, you're here. I assume you were just busy with something, like maybe dinner or... Yeah, busy with something. And that's why it took you a while to respond. So I'm gonna give you a yes or no answer. And a bit of advice. What advice does Jasmine need to hear regarding this relationship with Vishal? Ish. Ish. Okay. On behalf of Jasmine, will Vishal seek her out to start their relationship over? So that left and right swinging is a no. That is not something on his mind. He does not have intentions to do that. Okay, so it's giving me a clockwise rotation, and this is saying two things. It's saying, first of all, this is for the best. If you move on and he moves on, that's for the best. The other thing it is saying is that you can be the one to reach out and ask to start the relationship over again if that's what you want. But moving on is for both of you. It would be the best for both of you. Now I'm going to seek some advice from the tarot for you. Jessica O, welcome. So, Queen of Discs, Jasmine. This is your advice from the tarot. It's saying to you, ground yourself in your reality as it is. Get out of your head. Stop thinking about these possible futures or things that you long for so much, and ground yourself in the present, because as long as you spend all that time up in your headspace, the reality and the security you have around you is put at jeopardy. You need to be present with what you have. You need to be present with your security, with your finances, and with your health. And get out of your head. Come back to earth. That's what this card is saying. So Jess, that was the last reading on my queue. Would you like a reading? Well, like I said twice, and like the pendulum said and the spirits guided me to say, it's for the best. It's for the best that you move on, that both of you move on. It's for the best. And like the tarot said, you need to focus on yourself and your finances and your health, and get out of your headspace. Stop fantasizing about all of these impossible futures with Vishal, and focus on yourself and your own development. General reading for Jess. Awesome. Wild cards. There's your wild cards. So the universe decided which cards. The universe decides one way or another. First one, 5 of Wands reversed. So this is saying that you have been overreaching a little bit. Now, don't fret too much about it, because it's coming to a close. You've learned from it. But basically, these last couple months, you've been overreaching. You want things, you're passionate about things, you have tools at your disposal in order to reach for them, but there are limits on your tools. There's limits on your technology, there's limits on your motivation, on your ability to stay motivated and fixated, and you've been setting too much, putting too much on your plate, more than what your resources and you can actually accomplish with what you know and have. So it ends up being more like you're taking a step forward and then going 2 steps back. And that's how it has been, and that's very frustrating. A lot of resistance happening there. The advice that this has for you is, now that you've seen that and experienced it for yourself, take smaller steps in the future. Work with what you have at your disposal, and don't try and push your technology or your finances or yourself further than what you can go. Every step that you take, you will have new experiences, you will learn new things, you will get access to new resources, you will grow, and you'll be able to take bigger steps, but start small. In the present, I have the Empress reversed. So this card, it is saying that by your nature, you pour out life-giving waters onto the people that you're close to. When you see someone you love is in distress, you want to stand at their back. You want to hold a shield up and protect them. You also... There are many people that you feel like are your children, or not really your children, but you feel responsible for, and you are prepared to sacrifice of yourself in order to see them thrive and grow. But in the present, those people that you sacrifice of yourself for are not appreciating you, and they're not appreciating that value, and it kind of leaves you feeling betrayed. And you pouring out emotional wellness and emotional support onto everybody, you're not feeling like anyone is giving that back to you, like you're constantly giving and no one is ever giving back. And this is kind of turning you resentful. It's kind of turning you against those people that you would otherwise be sacrificing for. And it's making you shut yourself off and not giving and not fulfilling that part of yourself that wants to give and hold and to protect and nourish. This card wants to say to you, you don't have to let that be the case. You don't have to be taken advantage of, you don't have to be unappreciated, but you also don't have to shut off. You don't have to close that part of yourself. You don't have to become resentful. You don't have to push anybody away. What needs to happen here is boundaries need to be set. So, those people who come to you for support and who come to you for that emotional wellness that you pour out onto them, if they are the kinds of people who are drains and who never give back, you need to set boundaries and say, hey, I've got more important things to be doing right now. Your neediness is insatiable. I will listen to you and I will give you the advice that you need after my priorities are fulfilled. And then those people that you sacrifice for, you need to make them aware of every time that you have put yourself on the line for them and say to them, listen, I can only do this so much. You can't take it for granted. It's there. I do it because I love you, and it's there as a last resort. It's not something like just because you're lazy, you know I'm going to fill in for you. No. If my discernment says, no, this person is taking advantage, I will step back and watch you drown. You need to just set clear boundaries there with what you're prepared to give and who you're prepared to give it to and how much of yourself you're going to be giving. And then your future interval card there, 5 of Swords. So this is now the opposite of that 5 of Wands reversed. It's you taking smaller steps, setting a routine, setting a structure regarding your purpose and the goals that you have for yourself, prioritizing them above the other people who are constantly in need of you, prioritizing your own goals and responsibilities a little bit above that, and then working towards it with everything that you have at your disposal. All of your knowledge, all of your experience, all of your resources, and doing it in small steps, little baby steps. You know, it doesn't matter how small a step is, every step brings you closer to your outcome and towards your goals. And that is your reading, Jessica. Jasmine already got her goal, her reading, so yeah. I hope you got some value from that, Jess. And again, my queue is empty. Yeah, slow moving ahead. Today it feels like that, slow moving ahead. For me, anyway, it feels like that. 3 viewers, 4 viewers. I'm glad that it was valuable for you. It's been so long since I reached the end of my queue, multiple times in a stream. But yeah, people are having their illusions shattered in the present moment, and people are also realizing that they actually have all the tools that they needed at their disposal, that the universe had already given it to them and they'd just been overlooking it. And no matter what obstacle they're facing, they actually have the tools they need to overcome it. That's what 18 is all about. That's the oracle for today. Shattering of illusions and realization. Realization both in the sense of realizing that you have the tools at your disposal to overcome any obstacles, and also realizing your goals, realizing your desires, seeing them become reality. It kind of reminds me of the story of Moses. Whether or not it was true, it doesn't matter. But the story goes that they arrive at the Red Sea, and they've got nowhere to go. And behind them is the Egyptian army, ready to kill them all. And so they cry out. They're like, God, God, help us. Why have you brought us to the sea just to die? We have death in front of us and we have death behind us. And God says to them, why are you crying out to me? Wherefore doest thou cry out to me? Have I not given you my staff? Just basically pointing out that you already have the tools you need to get out of the situation. I already gave them to you. Why are you crying out in hopelessness? Yeah. Hey, welcome Vikram, and thank you so much for the tip you sent me today. Much appreciated. Welcome back. Let me know if you'd like a reading. There's no one else in the queue. I hope you're doing well today, though. Having a good Friday. While I have no readings to do, I'm just gonna muse on stuff. Glad to hear you're doing well though, Vic. Glad to hear that you're okay. So, like yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I was browsing on Twitter and someone made a tweet saying, what happens if social media goes down? We're gonna have to find some way to communicate psychically. I'm projecting a symbol. If you can see it, let me know. And I looked at it and I saw like a spiral and a teardrop, and I saw a whole lot of stuff, but it was a lot, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna bring it down to the things that stand out to me, and that's a teardrop and with a spiral in it. And so I said that, teardrop, drop, and spiral. And then I saw they tweeted back get the fuck out, that is a part of the symbol. And they send me a picture and it's like a unicorn, but the unicorn is like, it's a dissection of the unicorn showing us how its horn spirals in like a teardrop shape around its brain. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, okay, cool. First of all, it's cool that you got confirmation that this kind of thing works, but the message I wanted to give to them, which they didn't seem to get, is that they need to be more simple. You know, having a whole biological diagram of a unicorn as their symbol, as their psychic symbol, is not very effective. If it had literally just been a spiral inside of a teardrop, that would, more people would see it. Even if they didn't know that that was the image or didn't trust, more people would see it. Having this complex diagram, people are seeing different parts of it, and it can get confusing. Like even for me, I was unsure of what to say, because I saw all of this influx of different information. I was like, what do I actually put down here? It's Saturday morning here in Australia, says Vic. I'm glad to hear it. You're like 11 hours ahead of me. So it's like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Bright, fresh, early morning, early Saturday morning. Glad to hear you're up so early on a Saturday, Vic. Are you still in bed, by chance? Thought so. Easy Saturday. Wake up early but no rush to get out of bed. Nice. When you do get out of bed, I hope that you have a delicious, scrumptious breakfast. And I hope that you prepare that breakfast yourself. I mean, it's nice to be treated and have someone cook for you every now and then. But cooking is a form of creative expression. You exercise your creative energy center when you cook, and for that reason it's very important. I don't know. I personally find that if I wake up early and cook a scrumptious meal that I really enjoy, it really sets a good note for the day. It's almost better than getting up and meditating for half an hour. It's actually a lot better. It's a different kind of tone that you set for the day when you wake up and go straight into deep meditation. My brother brought me some offerings. Brought me some donuts and some biscuits. Looking forward to that, but I haven't eaten dinner yet, so I'll be eating dinner after the stream, which is like around about 11 o'clock. By the way, next weekend Saturday I'm going to be doing a collaborative stream with the 3 stars on Twitch. So it's only 2 stars now. The 3 stars lost a star, and yeah, they've asked me to collaborate with them. Basically what we'll do is all 3 of us will be streaming in the same video feed at the same time on their channel. I will host it on my channel, so anyone who's coming to look for me will see that I'm busy on another channel. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. It's kind of experimental for me because I have long-term goals of large-scale collaboration between content creators. Come on, why are you playing it back to me? Vic is asking me, do I have siblings? Yes, I have a brother and a sister. Explicit Cupcake says that will be fun to watch. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how that goes. And it'll work on like a random pick, so if someone requests a reading, then the bots will choose one of the 3 of us to give a reading randomly. Vic says I woke up many times during the night. Sorry to hear that. Unrestful sleep. So that stream next week Saturday is going to be the same time as the stream. Half an hour, no, 2 hours later. My mistake. An hour and a half later. Like I went live at 8 today. They want to go live at 9:30. 10:30. Yeah, they want to go live at 10:30. For them, that is 9:30. For me, that's 10:30. I said to them, we can make that work for next week Saturday, but if we're going to do this kind of thing regularly, we're going to have to do it earlier. So I haven't actually, it's autumn equinox right now, and I haven't set out like any kind of ceremony. I had planned it, but like equinox arrived and I didn't do anything yet. I'll need to re-examine that. The equinox isn't today, it's like in a few days. I did have a plan for like a fire ceremony. Definitely should go through with it. I should not procrastinate it. And that's perfectly aligned with my mission to go and saw down trees for wood, because that's something that's going to happen. And I can spend the day sawing trees, and I can come back and build the fire and start the ceremony. I'll take photos and upload it onto Twitter and Facebook too. By the way, guys, I upload any changes to my schedule or if anything happens and I'm gonna be late to a stream, and then I post those things on my socials. Yes, you have Ostara coming up in a few days. For me it's Maven, because I'm in the southern hemisphere, so everything is reversed. It'll be Maven for Vic as well, even though they probably still do celebrate Ostara or Easter or whatever, but in the southern hemisphere the table is reversed. Astrology is reversed. Everything is reversed. Even the sun goes the opposite direction in the sky. The waxing moon faces the opposite direction. Everything is upside down where we are. Oh, I feel so tired. Trying to see the time, but none of these devices want to show me. My partner's guitar has a nice crack in it, and that's something else I've been meaning to fix. is to glue that crack and clamp it together with some wood glue, see if it holds. If not, I'll have to drill some holes and put some bolts in. It would be great to play at the same time for a change. We have a guitar, but the other one is broken, or it's got a nice crack in it. The tension when it's in tune, and the tension causes the crack to open further. So the strings have been taken off and it's just sitting waiting to be repaired. She needs some TLC. Her name is Athena, which interestingly is also my daughter's name. And my electric guitar, I just can't win with that electric guitar. And the strings just don't last. I'll record one track with the electric guitar. I'll put her in her case. Simipolia is her name. I'll put her in her case, put her on the stand, and the next time I take her out to play, I tune her, and as soon as it's in tune, strings are breaking. This whole system is frozen. I can't go to the bottom of the chat and see what you guys are saying. Can't check the time. It's like frozen. Can't see the viewer counters. So weird. But I see we have some new people who have joined us. I'm not sure who it is. I see Explicit Cupcake is chatting, and someone has joined us. Hopefully sometime today the system will respond and I'll get to see what you guys are saying. Yeah, it's completely frozen. Sorry about that, guys. I got no chat, so if you're chatting with me, I can't see it. Sorry about that. My queue is empty though, so if you'd like to join, you can type join or ask your question, and hopefully sometime today the computer will start responding and I'll be able to see what you guys are saying. Not only is my brother visiting tonight, he's just sleeping over tonight, but my sister is visiting as well. She has been traveling all over South Africa, and she's visiting for 10 days or so. She's staying here in the other studio. Got this studio here, and there's another one. The other one doesn't have all the setup that's necessary, but it is a nicer spot actually. It's so weird, you know, the technological resistances that I've been experiencing. Like last week I had constant disconnect. Yesterday, my server kept shutting down, so video would freeze and then audio would freeze, and I'm trying to talk to you guys, and I think that you're there, but actually there's nobody there, or you can't hear anything I'm saying. Today I've got no chat, can't see what you're saying. It's absolutely insane. I think the only solution I've got here with this machine is to actually just power it down and boot it up again. Yesterday I was chatting about the major and minor arcana and how they relate to each other, but most of the lesson that I gave was lost to the abyss because the audio and video was frozen. Yeah, I left off on 8, so I went on from there. I spoke about 9 and how 9, the hermit, it's about self-reflection, and then underneath it are all of the 9 of the suites: 9 of wands, 9 of swords, 9 of discs, and 9 of cups, and they're like underneath the hermit. You take the hermit energy into consideration, but you apply it to a very specific domain of your life when doing a reading. Like wands is specifically to do with passions, intentions, desires. So 9 of wands is then about reflecting on your intentions and your desires, etc. And then tomorrow, when I do my psychic warfare and strategic raiding stream, I'll be going on with that, and we'll be moving on from 10. We'll be looking at 11, 12, and 13 of the trumps, so that is strength or lust, and the hanged man, and death. Oh, and 14 as well, art or temperance. And then we'll look at the quartz cards of the minor arcana, because the quartz cards correspond with 11, 12, 13, and 14. Queen, Prince, Knight, and Princess, in that order. Welcome anyone who has joined the stream. I can't see the chat at the moment, unfortunately. I am waiting for the machine to reboot, but it is so unbearably slow. And yeah, so until that happens, you guys can hear and see me, but I cannot read what you're typing in the chat, and I cannot see how many of you there are, but we will get there. We will get there. Just being patient. I don't really know what happened. The system just froze up. The chat just froze and I couldn't do anything. It was strange. That's something I need, is a machine that can actually cope with the content that I'm creating here. And something else I would really love to get my hands on is a graphics drawing tab, a tablet that I can draw on, because yeah, I am an artist, and I feel like the next step for me as an artist is to explore digital art and NFTs. My idea is to do custom NFTs. Thank you for the follow. I can't see who it is, but at least I can hear it. Thank you. Yeah, anyway, I'd love to draw custom NFTs. People are selling profile pictures. I'd like to draw fantasy inspired profile pictures for people that are modeled after them. Custom, yeah, custom made. Otherwise, let me show you these two drawings that I have here. This is my profile picture, as you've already seen it. And then this is one that I'm busy working on now. I'm almost finished with it. Yeah. Until this point, basically my medium has been pencil and pen. I have done a little bit of painting. Like I've tried my hand at that once or twice, and it's great, but I don't really connect to it the same way I do with the drawing. I feel like I can do a lot more with the drawing, but then painting does open up the realm for color, and that is something I'd like to develop. I still would like to try my hand at digital art first, because there also it opens up the realm for color. Okay, so now we just have to wait for the chat to open. The computer is booted, just waiting for the chat. Another medium that I use for art is music, vocals and guitar. Okay, so my chat is up, but everything that is written in this chat that you guys can see, I have lost. So from now on, any messages you guys send, I can see and read. So if anyone wants to join the queue, yeah, if you have tried to join the queue while my chat was dysfunctional, please rejoin so I can see. Thank you. I'm so glad to be able to see what you guys are saying. Oh, just gotta be patient. Just gotta take small steps and be patient. Gotta remind myself of that, otherwise I can get very frustrated with my technology. Thanks for sticking around despite the fact that you couldn't interact with me. Genesis, beautiful art, thank you. So my partner and I actually have a YouTube channel dedicated to our musical art. It's called Nightbirds. And we upload our jam sessions when we play together or sing together, and we upload it there. We also do have a demo album on SoundCloud, also under the handle Nightbirds. Now that my chat is back, I'd like to get my dashboard back so that I can see all the other stats. Hey Jackie. Space, please, bud. It's nice to see you, but I've learned in the past you have come in here and you have bumped the camera and you have pulled wires out, and so please, some space. Yeah, night birds. I should have this in my description link so that I make sure I get to the right channel. Ish. I'll consider it. Jen, thank you for the suggestion. I will consider it. There are already a whole load of links in the description. You should be able to recognize the art though. The owl that I've drawn for the profile picture, it's like a similar style to what I just showed you now, and my current profile picture, so you'll recognize it, I'm sure. But then also, yeah, I guess I could, I don't know. I do post on my socials. I do post links. Whenever something new goes up onto the channels, I do post it on my social platforms. And there are links to the socials on the description. But we are like 20 minutes away from the 2-hour mark on the stream. Yeah, I will definitely consider it. I do take into consideration every suggestion and every recommendation that I get. I consider, like, you just make me want to figure out how I can put a link to other platforms, to like the other channels that I use onto this channel. Yeah, your question or your suggestion is making me scheme ways of how I can do that. Maybe I can host, maybe YouTube allows me to like suggest other channels or host other channels, in which case I can include Nightbirds there. I mean, they are linked. Nightbirds is like an extension of Kerr's account, my account, so it should be possible. It should be possible to have like a list. There's another one, Body of Man. Body of Man is not much happens there yet, but it's kind of like a marketing platform, and the end goal for Body of Man is to have many content creators getting exposure through it. So imagine like a 24-hour stream where it just switches when one leaves, and just switches on the same channel. So if I look at it this way, I'm streaming to Body of Man channel and to my personal channel, and when I end, then the next person goes live on Body of Man but also to their channel, so we're all sharing an audience. I've also got the idea of like having a channel for each pillar in the event that Body of Man had like too much content to be hosted in one channel. Then I'd say, okay, this guild hall here, this house of content creators, my sister, my partner, myself, and anyone else who joins us, then we have one stream, and when I'm bored and I'm tired, I just get up and I leave, and someone else comes and sits down. Jenna says, when you search YouTube, it's always inundated with paid and top and not necessarily good. Yeah, you're right. You are right about that. And they also take into consideration your own search history. Like if I search on my channel, like with my account, I will get different results to someone else, even if I'm searching the same keyword. And I've noticed that, like using Nightbirds to make a search, using my channel to make a search, I see a difference because it takes into consideration what you have been searching, what your recent search history looks like. Oh dear, I'm out of rolling papers. Okay. So, I feel like I'm just gonna give a collective reading to close the stream up, and then I'm gonna go eat. Yeah, I would have stuck around for 3 hours, but it's very quiet. That doesn't mean you guys are not valuable company. You guys are. Explicit Cupcake and Jenna, you guys are valuable company. But yeah, I'm going to do a collective reading and then I'm going to close up. General collective reading regarding the world's general state of affairs. Our present general state of affairs as a collective species. Jessica, welcome back. So not much has really changed here. Things are still pretty quiet. I haven't given any more readings, so I'm going to give this collective reading here, and then I'm going to close up for the day. And I'll do it again on Sunday, a little bit earlier than today. But this is standard Friday times. Sunday has a different time slot, a couple hours earlier. Jen, you're on YouTube. I'm gonna have a look. You find it hard to expand on YouTube. I find it hard to expand on Twitch. YouTube has grown faster than Twitch. Jessica says, I love your vibe, Karin. Thank you so much for that recognition. If I put it this way, I started streaming on Facebook and on Twitter and on Twitch and on YouTube all at the same time. Twitter did not grow at all. It did not grow. It did not receive any interaction. Zilch. Zero. Facebook grew faster than the other platforms at first, and then YouTube started to catch up with Facebook and started to grow faster. And Twitch has been the same since the beginning. Very slow growth with Twitch. There was an advantage to using Facebook in that I could promote and share the stream to groups and shit. So that is what got me off the ground. It got me from 0 viewers to 1. But I have found that the followers on Facebook, they tend to ask the same question again and again and again. And these questions are not valuable questions. So they don't actually get anything from the stream, and I don't actually give anything to them, and they never send anything to me in return. So yeah, I decided to cull Facebook off. It served me at first, but it exhausted its usefulness. Now I'm going to dedicate Facebook to art and personal private services. You don't know Twitch, says Jen. Twitch has some really neat features like rating and hosting and suggestions, stream suggestions, and What are the other things I like about stream? Chatbots, queues. All of these things are very useful about Twitch. And also you don't have to reach 1,000 subscribers before you can affiliate yourself. You just gotta have an average of 3 viewers and 50 followers. And you also have to have uploaded a certain amount of content and proven that you're consistent. But yeah, there's like a list of 5 requirements that they give you that doesn't really take all that long to meet if you're trying. Yeah, I get a lot of relationship questions. But now it's one thing for someone to ask you how they can improve in their relationship. It's another thing when someone is prying into their partner's thoughts again and again and again. And when you tell them what their partner is thinking, they tell you, no, you're wrong. They know better, but they're still asking me anyway. Anyway, what do we need to understand collectively as a community, local and global? Yeah, exactly. I used to tell those people, and I still do, because Facebook, that was like the primary kind of question that came through Facebook. But I still get those kinds of questions through Twitch and YouTube. Not as often, but it does happen. And I often say to them, you're brave to want to know what your partner's thinking and what's going on in their head. Brave or foolish, there's a fine line between the two. Where did this card come from now? I drew this card. Since that is still laying on top there, I'm going to assume that this is conscious thoughts. Shoo, a lot of rebirth happening in the world. So in the present, there's a Knight of Discs, and this is saying that globally, everyone is experiencing a rebirth in their physical world. Everyone is either losing their jobs or having to get used to working from home or having to move from one place to another. Yeah, everybody has been forced into a rebirth position regarding their physical world, their income, and their health. Yeah, a lot of rebirth there, and this is because of the isolation that COVID-19 brought. And COVID-19 is like never going to end. It's going to just be another flu that we have to get used to living with. And yeah, so things are not really going to change. The world has changed, and it's not going to go back to the way it was before. But this new rebirth, what has come in place, like being able to work from home, it's pushed us to actually start utilizing the reaches of what our technology can accomplish. Technology has advanced so much in the last 20 years, and we're not really using it to its potential. Things like this war and the outbreak of COVID-19 have kind of pushed us globally, collectively, to start applying the new developments in our technology. And yeah, so we were experiencing rebirth in our physical reality, and that's because of the death card. The death card has forced this on us. People dying, infectious disease spreading, war breaking out. The end of old things and the birth of new things. And that death card wants to encourage us by saying that all of these changes that are happening, even though it looks painful and it looks like society is coming to a great and utter collapse, it's all to bring us collectively as a species closer to what we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah, spot on, Jen. The virus becomes more contagious and less deadly, but will always exist. Yep. Spot on. Conscious mind, a lot of us in the world right now, we are fixating our mind on this. We're fixating our mind on these rebirths, trying to make sense of it, trying to critically analyze it and make logical sense of what's going on. For some of us this is necessary. We've got to do this. We've got to analyze it in our minds and look for hidden agendas. And for others, we don't really care. We're not so concerned about it all. There are some of us who are diving deep into conspiracy, and there are some of us who are just applying ourselves to our own creative projects, making changes to our lives as far as we're capable of, not trying to impact things on a wide scale, on a global scale, not trying to influence people, take the vaccine, don't take the vaccine. We just make our own decision and live our lives through example, and hoping that that example will impact the people that we know, instead of deliberately trying to wage war against the world. We're making war privately, low-key. Unconscious mind. So everybody is being affected by intentions, by the intentions of those that fucked around with the virus in the laboratories in the first place. Everyone is concerned and being affected by the intentions that Russia had behind attacking Ukraine in the first place. These intentions are affecting us all in ways we can't even consciously see. Our unconscious mind is trying to process it, trying to make sense of why, of what was the reason, what were the intentions behind it. Our unconscious mind is processing and reflecting. That's the word I was looking for. Processing and reflecting on the intentions of these various parties that are bringing about all of this misfortune onto the global community. We're not even consciously aware of how much that processing is affecting us. A lot of our actions and our words are influenced by the fact that we're still processing those intentions. So this is where we've come from, the Hierophant. We've been following example. We've been following the example that is set out in front of us, collectively. We see what others are doing, what our governments are suggesting. They're saying lockdown, they're saying isolation, they're saying this, they're saying that. We've been following examples. And these examples, following after these examples, is what led us to the rebirth that we're experiencing in the present, where we had to get used to working from home, or losing our jobs, or moving location, and being isolated and not being able to go out into the places we used to. Rebirth to our lifestyle and the way that we secure ourselves. That came about as a result of following external examples. For better or worse. There were aspects of the suggestions and the example that were beneficial, and there were aspects of it that were overkill and unnecessary, and there are aspects of it that just don't make any amount of sense whatsoever. Like the idea of being able to take your mask off in a restaurant. That doesn't make any amount of sense. No entry without mask, but once you're seated you can take your mask off. Doesn't make any sense. Conditioned absurdity is what I see it as. They had to open the businesses, or otherwise the economy would have taken even more strain than it did. Doing the best that they could with what they knew and with what they had, I guess. Another aspect of the Hierophant card. Future interval here, things that are opening up for us, is Four of Cups. So this is the lesson that all of this has taught us and what we're all learning through all of this, and it is emotional discipline. Learning to channel our emotions into constructive action and not reacting to it, and not allowing ourselves to go into breakdowns and make everyone around us responsible for our emotional experience. A lot of people went into psychosis during isolation, so the lesson through all of that was learning to find ways to channel your emotions and not allow them to get the better of you and cause destruction and disruption in your life. Because there are worse things that can happen. There are worse things than a plague. There are worse things than a little war. And the lesson that we've all been learning through that is how to take authority over our emotional experience, using both positive and negative emotions to do things that are constructive. Hey Maya, welcome. You'd like a reading for today? Of course, I'll give you a reading for today. What be your question? Jenna says, I don't call it conspiracy, I'd call it truth. I don't see any truth from my perspective. Everything is conspiracy and conjecture. The only thing that is true is how my life is being affected by it. Everything else is just conjecture and conspiracy. Jenna said, I've had a difficult time with the divisiveness and losses of others. Yeah, definitely. And Jenna says they lie. I'm assuming you're talking about governments, the government and media and all that. Yes, they lie. They've always been lying. They've been lying since the very beginning. Nothing has really changed in that regard. So my plan was to close up after this collective reading. So Maya, if you would like to get that reading, please confirm your question. Yeah, I guess it's just become more obvious. The lies are just getting more obvious as we go forward. We're all heretics and conspirators now. Didn't you know? Where should Maya be dedicating her energy today? So your first card here is the Nine of Discs. So this is saying that the last couple of days you have been reflecting on your health, your diet, your exercise routine, and your career, or whatever it is that you do to bring an income in. You've been looking and saying, okay, where have I done well? Where have I made breakthroughs and found success? And what was going on around that? What was I doing in those times when I had breakthroughs or success? You're looking back to see what was different during times of success as opposed to now. And IDT, I'm closing up after this, so you can get a reading if you send a tip. This is the last free reading that I'm doing. You've been looking to see what you were doing differently there, so that you can apply it again and hopefully see the same results. And you've also been checking to see where have you made mistakes in the past, where have you done things that have resulted in losses, and backtracking and backsliding so that you can avoid repeating those mistakes. And the point of this reflection is because whatever you have been working on, whatever you have been doing, you've finished it, and so you're looking now to dedicate your energy into something else, start a new project. And that's, yeah, you're asking me where should you dedicate your energy today. Okay, so you got a Two of Cups reversed in the present. So this is saying today you should be focusing on loving yourself and taking care of yourself. This card is reversed, so it wants to warn you that this happens. You have like a full week and you have a full weekend. You don't really have any Sabbath. You don't really have any day of rest, a day to dedicate to yourself. And then you set a day apart, or a day comes up where you have nothing on your schedule and you have the opportunity to work on yourself and give yourself that self-care you need. Take a nice long bath, listen to music, nourish yourself as you're supposed to. Just a day of self-care, and then you say, okay, I'm going to take this day for myself, but then at a certain point in the day you get bored or you get triggered or something happens and you feel this anxious motivation to do something and be productive. And it's good to be productive, but when it's born out of that anxious drive, there's an issue there. And at the same time, you also lose out on that emotional abundance you could have received by dedicating a day to yourself and your self-love. Like, if you take a day out to commit to yourself, there's a certain sense of reward that you will get out of it. But if you don't allow the entire day to be yours, and you don't allow yourself to have all that rest, and then you allow an anxious trigger to send you into like a manic cleaning spree or whatever it might be, then you miss out on that value that you could have received from the self-love process and the self-care process. So that card wants you to do that. It wants you to focus on yourself today. Look after yourself. That's where you should be dedicating your energy, to a restful day where you nourish yourself, apply your lotions, have that long bath with all of those salts and perfumes and whatever. Cook a nice healthy meal, prepare a nice healthy meal for yourself. Just take the day out for yourself to express appreciation for yourself and fill your own cup so that you're ready for the week when it starts again. Future interval, Queen of Discs. So this card is reversed. Basically, you will move into the Queen of Discs reversed in the next couple of days if you don't turn the self-love card the right way around and really commit to yourself. If you consistently don't give yourself the rest day and the self-love day that you need, then you move into a Queen of Discs reversed, which is a place where you're not grounded in the present. You're not grounded in the tasks in front of you. I'm sure you've experienced that before, where you're feeling burned out because you haven't really taken a day out for yourself, and then the new week starts and you're at work or you're busy with your projects, but you can't really bring yourself to be present with it. You've got all of these other things going on in your mind that are distracting you, desires and longings and dissatisfaction with the state of your reality. And that's basically what will happen again if you don't take this day out for yourself. You'll start the new week again ungrounded, and it'll be difficult to get out of that state of ungrounded, of being up in your headspace, concerned about all of these unimportant things that are not actually a priority for you during the week. But yeah, taking this day out for yourself and committing to yourself and showing yourself the appreciation that you actually deserve, that'll turn that Queen of Discs the right way around, where you are fully grounded and present with your week and your projects and your career, whatever it is that you're going to be doing in the new week. You'll be fully present with it, and more than that, you'll also be able to recognize all the things that you're grateful for. You'll be able to see how much abundance you actually have in your present. Not focusing on all the things that you don't have and you're still working towards. You'll be able to see all the things you have already received, and that'll help motivate you and help you feel more secure in what you are doing. When you're aloof and you're stuck in your headspace and you're looking at all the things that you don't have and you're still working towards, it's easy to feel demotivated and dissatisfied with your job or whatever it is you're doing, feeling hopeless about it. But if you can be grounded into the present and you can see all the things that you have manifested and all the abundance that you are surrounded with, yeah, it's a lot more inspiring and motivating, and it keeps a person in a much better headspace, a much more healthy space, where you'll find you just have more energy to do the things that you usually do. Yeah, where should you be dedicating your efforts today? Into yourself, into caring for and nourishing yourself. And then Jenna says, we make our own oils and mix our own herbs. Wish I could share. Do you have like a business page where we can order and buy these things from you, Jen? It doesn't matter. I'm going to check you out. I'm going to check out your channel and subscribe and look at your social links and follow you and friend request you and all that stuff. Anyway, thanks guys. Thanks for keeping me company, Jen and Jess and Explicit Cupcake. Keeping me company through a slow stream. And I'll see you guys on Sunday. Wealth and abundance and prosperity beyond measure to all of you. See you soon.